signature soft targets, purposely trying to hit strategic targets that affect the psyche of the population.
Back in this country, President Obama reacted at the White House.
We have been in contact with French officials to communicate our deepest condolences to the families of those who've been killed, to offer our prayers and thoughts to those who've been wounded.
Later Friday, Mr. Obama spoke by phone with the French President Hollande to repeat those.
It's Mr. President.
To reaffirm his
Or President Obama.
As needed. This as security
not Mr. Obama.
Potential terror targets in this country, in Washington and New York and Boston.
And this is a
other
professional
American
radio
cities
station.
and locations. So summing up what we know at this hour, at least 120 people have been killed in 6 coordinated Friday night attacks in Paris, with 8 attackers also reported dead. No word yet on their affiliation. France is under a state of emergency. Its borders supposedly closed. This is CBS News.
Health Markets Insurance Agency is the DBA of Instar Insurance Solutions Incorporated, licensed.
Alright, so my earlier video about the Paris attacks was when I heard about it a couple hours prior to it, maybe about an hour prior to it. Pardon me, because I had left the VA at about 4 o'clock, and I heard that there was, breaking news. Just drank some coffee and ate a badass burger. But I think it was about between 20 and 2100 on Friday the 13th. I heard of 2015. RT posted that ISIS was claiming responsibility for this. RT was claiming that. WTOP said that no word on the affiliation. My video prior to this one, I said that it was ISIS or some terrorist group that is closely linked to the mentality of the Al-Qaeda Taliban insurgency mentality. I'm not going to say Muslim. I'm not going to say Arabic. I'm not going to say Middle Eastern. I'm saying 3 specific groups. Because in all those groups, there's a mixed race. Whether people want to believe that or not, look at Jihadi John. That was just taken out of commission. That was just destroyed by a Hellfire missile. Allegedly. They're still waiting on confirmation about that. The fact is that I'm actually... Alright, so there is one concern that I have. Is the Paris attacks the spark that ignites attacks all around the world? Because ISIS is widespread. The Islamic State is widespread. And I'm not saying Islam is bad. I'm saying that ISIS, ISIL, IS is bad. And I'm saying that they're worldwide. What I'm saying is, was this attack a ignition for a contingency plan? And if so, where are the next attacks going to be? At the same time, I strongly believe that this might have been a hasty decision Because if I were a terrorist organization that was on the fringe of losing all the ground that was once achieved, I would be doing a last-ditch effort. Is this a last-ditch effort? And if so, it's a weak one. And what I would have done if I were a terrorist, a leader of a terrorist organization, I wouldn't do an attack like this. I wouldn't do just one area. I'd do something in Europe. I'd do something in South America. I would do something in North America. I would do something in Asia. I would do something... What continent am I missing? And then there's Antarctica, but nothing's going to happen in Antarctica. North America, South America, Europe, Asia. I would do something in each one of those regions. And the thing is, Russian airplane, Asia. North America, South America, Europe, Asia, Africa. Russian airplane, Asia. Paris, Europe. I'm thinking that there's 3 more attacks coming. Because if I were a terrorist organization, I would have done them all at once. That way, there wouldn't be a buildup of forces. Because I live right outside of DC right now. And security is beefed up. And that happened once word got out about what was happening in Paris. The boys were beating the street. However, and this is what's gonna show the threat that we are against, is if another continent is struck after these 2 events. That's going to size up the enemy. And how do we do something about this enemy? We cannot go to war against an idea with instruments of death. The only way to win against this idea is with another idea. And this is called a war. This is called a propaganda war. In order to beat the enemy, one must think like the enemy. One must put oneself into the shoes of the enemy and think like the enemy and figure out, if I want to cause the most influence, how would I do it? And that is why I'm kind of bouncing between a few thoughts right here, because I'm thinking on the fly. My original thought is that I would have done an attack in all 5 continents at the same time, or within very close time to each other, just like the coordinated events of 9/11. Yes, I have my own beliefs about what happened on 9/11, 2001. Nevertheless, the 4 planes were hijacked at the same time. Right after those attacks, security beefed up, and it made it damn near impossible for another event like that to happen. I'm a political analyst. I've proven my point several times, and I'm getting better at it. I am initializing a conversation about the trends that we are facing. I could be doing a lot more about things, and I'll get there. Nonetheless, I'm proving that I actually know what I'm talking about. I'm tactically sound. And at the same time, people want to give me a bunch of grief for being a PTS demon, when I have recently discovered that I don't have post-traumatic stress disorder. I have post-traumatic growth. Look it up. This is what a lot of Chinese parents were doing to their children, because they wanted their children to become gifted so they could leave the communist regime of the Chinese government. And so they were inducing stress among their children to get them to become more gifted. To tap into different regions of their brains. So that they could leave the communist regime. Part of the reason why I have not been treated with proper care is because the VA, the Veterans Affairs Administration, is trying to treat me for something that I do not have, which is why the medicine that they provide me, which I do not take, does not work, because I have taken it and it does not work. They're trying to treat me for something that I do not have, and at the same time they will not listen to me about what is actually going on. Post-traumatic growth. This day is truly a sad day. I do not believe that Russia is responsible for this. This is what war is. Russia's involvement in the situation caused the terrorist organizations to act out hastily because they were losing their resources. In all reality, this should have happened months ago. This should never happen. But the thing is, it's war. And things are going to happen. And this should have happened months ago. Because America should have involved itself better to force the terrorists into making drastic moves, to give us more of a reason to discourage the idea, because it's a bad idea. And to correct Obama, the French are not our longest standing allies. Pardon me. Ever hear of the French and Indian War? They're not our longest allies. I'm not even too certain who our strongest allies are as Americans. As far as I can see at this point in time, is that America has always stood alone. We've challenged everybody. Because we are a new idea, we're a better idea. Nevertheless, France, America has your back, France. And we are sorry that this event happened to you. And we will do everything in our power to justify the killing of these terrorists. This is fucking war. And people need to die. We can't have this negativity in our world. No. And the thing is that these people are so freaking broken that there is no correctional facility for them. And this is what it's like to be a fucking gray line. Terrorist, welcome to die. I swear to God, I wish I could see one of you motherfuckers. Just give me one more fucking reason. Give me one fucking reason. Be safe, France.